Liverpool did win 2-1. But man of the match on the night is Chiesa by an absolute country mile. And I want to talk about his mentality before I talk about anything else, Steve. This is a lad who's been left out of the Champions League at this moment in time. Basically said a 16-year-old kid at this moment is better than you, is higher in the pecking order. A lad who's won the Euros. He's a senior lad. We know how much quality he's got on the ball. He wasn't favoured last season. He's got one of the best songs on the cop right now. He could have gone into this game, he could have had a sulk, a moan, he could have gone into it just thinking, who can be arsed, boys? But what he gave was absolutely everything. He was everywhere on the pitch. He obviously gets the 2 assists, which we'll talk about more in detail in a minute. But for me, the mentality of going, okay, well, actually, this is my opportunity. I'm not going to play in the Champions League right now. But what I can do is I can try and get myself more minutes in the Premier League. I can prove that when, Mo Salah goes to AFCON, that instead of Jeremy Frimpong at right wing, I'm the lad who they should be relying on. And I thought his mentality going into that was exceptional before he actually put in this unbelievable performance.
Yeah, obviously he wasn't even on the bench at the weekend. He's right down the pecking order. We were talking of all the senior players, he's the lowest down the pecking order. He is Liverpool's 21st or 22nd player, depending on what you think of Trey Johnny or whatever. That's where Arne Slot sees him. If everyone's fit, he isn't around. And if you look at some of the other senior players who played in that game, like guys who were battling for places, didn't do themselves any favours. Some of them were poor. And again, the manager references it. For him, the mentality is right. It's no surprise that it's him who creates that first opportunity. He goes and presses and reads the poor pass, because you're right, from minute one he was all over it. He's but in the end of the game he's played in 4 different roles. He's ran all over the pitch. His mentality is fantastic. You're absolutely spot on. Fair play to him, because it's easy to sulk, and you know what, Arne Slot has done loads right. I think the one thing that people do question sometimes is his treatment of Chiesa. Maybe he doesn't just think he's as good as maybe we all do, and that's fine. Maybe there's stuff in this game he doesn't do that the manager isn't a favour, but it's pretty harsh to leave him out the Champions League squad for Rio. It is that. It's a young lad who's good, and I like Rio Ngamo, don't get me wrong, and there's more to come. That was the decision he made. For him to come on and just his quality, he's always going to be better than the Southampton players. Don't get me wrong, his quality is always going to shine through. But for him to put the shift in, and for, the smile on his face, but the aggression when it's needed. You need me to go and play left wing sound, right wing sound, number 10 sound. Where do you need me now? I'll do the job for you. Yeah, he deserves a lot of praise, because it can't be easy to be treated like that. He said that he stayed around because, he wants to help the team. He enjoys it. He keeps speaking about he loves playing here, and I really want to make an impact. But actions speak louder than words, and it's easy to say that. But he's clearly proved, I'm here for the fight. And listen, he'll be on the bench the weekend now. He has to be, because the red card for Ekitike, you're going to need a forward. He'll get on the pitch, because Isak isn't ready to play 90 minutes. At some point, Chiesa will be playing up front at the weekend, and he's earned it. Fair play to him. He's put it on Slot's toes. Leave me out, sound, have a bit of this. All those lads you picked ahead of me, I've been better than all of them. Fair play.
Yeah, and the other thing is that, you can... If he hadn't have had his moments so far this season, you can kind of say, well, he's not proved anything yet. But he has that big moment. He comes on against Bournemouth, gets the winning goal. Every time I've seen him, I've been impressed with him. And you start to think, oh, Slot's actually starting to fit. Oh, no, he's not. He's not even in the matchday squad here. And look, Slot came out after the game, Dan, and he said, I can accept completely that a team that plays for the first time together, players that haven't played for a long time, that they don't play as a team perfectly. But what I always want to see is players that try and work hard. So I said at half-time, for me, it is completely not a coincidence that Federico picked the ball and assisted on the first goal, because he was the one, in my opinion, that was most involved in the game, tried the most, worked the hardest. And then it wasn't a coincidence again that he was the man that made a deep run, a great ball by Robbo, by the way, who also has won so much at this club and understands how to play this game and not underestimate it. Just always be ready to play. That's also the way to get yourself either back in the team or get as much playing minutes as you want. That's why I was happy with a few individual performances, but far from happy with a few other individual performances. I won't say who, but I think these players know who I mean. And that goes to show, look, he's just turned around and said, Federico obviously was the one who did everything brilliant in the game and was the one who got the 2 assists because he worked the hardest to get in those moments. But also I mentioned Andy Robbo. He's just sending a big message to the rest of the squad who played, because he's gone, Federico and Robbo know how to play this game. They've won things in the past, lads. Yeah. If you want to be like them, you want to win things at us, you want to have big involvements. These are 2 lads who aren't favoured right now, who feel like they should be, who've got silverware to back up why they probably should be in this team. And they've gone and proved it in games like this. They've not came in here, underestimated the opposition and thought, it's just the EFL Cup. Maybe do what I did and was like, oh, it's the EFL Cup. That's not what you're supposed to do as a player. And Federico Chiesa's performance, he's put a real marker there for Slot.
He has. He took his chance and then some. And let's be honest, he's not really in a position to underestimate any opportunity that he gets. He has to take them with both hands. And he did that last night. I thought it was absolutely magnificent. All the things, all the adjectives you guys already mentioned. He just absolutely bossed it for minute one, really. Full of energy, full of determination, full of drive, full of a real sort of desire to show us all and sort of make us all realise what we've still got in Federico Chiesa. This was the player, that was a Federico Chiesa performance of old. That was the player we all hoped and sort of believed that we'd signed. Rewind the clock 14 months, whatever it was. He was just everywhere, just full of fight, full of passion, and almost a bit of a message, I guess, to the likes of Arne Slot and again us in terms of what his treatment's been like since you've had the football club. Obviously, we all love him, but it has been moments, Chloe, you mentioned there, he's had moments along the way. Yeah. This was a full performance, this is the first full performance we've seen for Federico Chiesa, really, that felt anything like Federico Chiesa, the Euros winner, the Juventus star, the Fiorentina star before that. He was absolutely incredible. And it was a bit of a shoot on sight policy as well, but it felt like every time he had a go, it was goal bound. It was destined for the net.
He does that a lot. I think it's worth mentioning as well, he looks fit. This time last year, one of the reasons he spoke about him, he had, again, he injuries and he hadn't played and he hadn't had the pre-season. Juventus were basically kicking him out. Yeah. So that plays into sharp. He's had a full pre-season, he's been around it, he looks fit and strong. I'm amazed, listen. I don't question much about Arne Slot. He's clearly great. He won us the league. He knows exactly what he's doing. And look where we're at, winning every game so far this season. The idea that Rio Ngamoa is a better option off the bench right now than Federico Chiesa, I can't quite get behind. Okay. And I like Rio, and I think he's had his moments. He's had a big moment. But Chiesa's versatility, Rio Ngamoa at this moment is a left winger, and we saw yesterday he found it. He found it tough. Yeah. They doubled up on him. They give him a bit of a kick, and he found it tough, and that's fine. He'll be better for the run, and he's going to be a wonderful player. But Chiesa can play up front. He can play left. He can play 10. He can play right.
He did the 10.
He did all of them. Yeah. He did everything, and that for me is, I think that's a better option right now because he clearly is fit. And maybe the manager, you can easily change your manager's mind with one performance. Diogo, I go back to, not Diogo, apologies, Divock Origi was gone. He was out on loan, he finished his Liverpool career, was over, he comes back in, scores a header after the Everton moment, and before you know it, he's back in the team and he's scoring in Champions League finals. You can change a manager, you can change the course of your career by just doing the right stuff, and it's clearly Chiesa. He was running till minute 90 odd, and he hasn't been able to do that. I go back, I wonder if there's some politics involved with the Rio stuff, and that, they signed this lad from Chelsea, we want to keep him happy. If he's the future, maybe we've got to tickle his balls, for lack of a better phrase, keep him happy kind of thing. For me, Chiesa for me is the guy who I would much prefer to see him coming onto the pitch. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
but again, that last night was the first real sighting we've had of that. I take everything you just said.
I disagree, Dan, because I think all season, I think he's looked sharp.
We're talking 10, 15 minute cameos here. Yeah. To put together performance from minute 1 to minute 9. It's the first time Chiesa's done that in a Liverpool shirt for my money anyway. That's why I think this is the player we believed or hoped that we'd sign. That was that last night. Absolutely unbelievable. And credit to him in terms of his character, Chloe, just come back to what you said earlier on, because he could have easily sulked and bemoaned the fact he wasn't missing from that Champions League squad and not really lifted a leg every time he got the opportunity. This was the opposite of that. Yeah. This was almost sending a message to say, don't forget about me a little bit. Yeah. But full credit to him for it, because on a night whereby it would have been easy for some of the senior lads to go, I'm part of the B squad, am I? This isn't really where I want to be. This isn't my night. Yeah. This isn't where I want to thrive. Chiesa's attitude and sort of mentality towards it was absolutely first class.
Can I say as well, Chloe, very quickly? we've praised his mentality and his fitness and all great, but like he's really good. Like he has got quality. Because loads of lads can run around and try hard. Like that should be a given, really. Like that you run around and try hard. Like that if anyone at Liverpool, if that isn't happening, then see you later. You need to go. Chris said yesterday to me, and he's got this like shoot on side policy. He always hits the target. He forces a really good save in the first half. Like he's dangerous. His first action is always trying to score or trying to get the ball forwards. Because I thought at times in the first half there was a bit of a disconnect between Liverpool's defence, midfield and attack. It was all very discombobulated. No one was passing forwards. The defenders maybe a little bit, but then it was sideways. It was back from the midfielders, Jones and Endo and Trey maybe playing a little bit safe, a bit rusty trying to play the way into the game. When it got to Chiesa, it was like forward pass, forward run. Can I do a little overlap? And listen, sometimes it didn't work and it break down, but he was always trying with it. And then, like I say, he has got genuine quality. I really hope that is a reminder to Arne Slot, if he needs it, like, this guy's a viable option. I'll go back to it. He'll be on the bench at the weekend. He might get another chance to impress. Just keep taking them, because at some point you will just say, you mentioned before, AFCON coming up, injuries happen, suspensions happen. He's probably going to find himself in the Champions League squad now. Yep. My guess is Leone will be replaced by Chiesa if the injury is as bad as we fear it is. And so there's more opportunities for him. Sometimes you've got to just take the chance when it comes, and he could not have done more. It would be really disheartening for him if he's just put onto ice now, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? I think Arne Slot, if he's going to back his message that you just read out, Chloe, of trying hard and emphasising it, you've got to almost give Chiesa the next go as a message to the rest of them. By the way, lads, like, if you play and you do this, you've got to do for it, because if you perform like that and then are just put on the shelf, I think that sends a really poor message to the rest of it sends a poor message to the rest of your squad. Yeah, well, he had 5 duels won, 100% tackles won, 4 key passes, 4 big chances created, both first out of, all of our team. And he obviously had 2 assists. And I'm going to leave you with the fact that the first touch from Robbo's pass for that second goal is absolutely outrageous. To kill it dead, so many times you see strikers do that and it just trickles away to the goalkeeper and the goalkeeper's able to come out and get the ball. That is a deft finish. That is outrageous. And the awareness to just lay it off to Ekitike. He could have shot and tried to score himself, but instead he's not greedy either. 2 assists, an absolute phenomenal performance from Federico Chiesa. We will see him in the squad against Palace. Hopefully he continued that form if he does play some minutes, which you don't imagine he would after. He's going to end that game. He's going to end up in that game playing centre forward, isn't he? Yeah, almost certainly. Because he's going to do what he was doing earlier. He's will start. He can't do 90 minutes. Yeah. And I hope he takes his chance. I really do. And listen to songs, boss. And
that was the best version of him we've seen.
And he's
by some distance.
He's very likeable. He's very quick. He's quirky. He does odd things, and the facial expressions are hilarious, and everything about him. His go-to goal celebrate when people score, the way he sprints with his arms up might be my favourite thing about him.
He loves it, doesn't he? Yeah. Just a lad that loves playing footy and loves Liverpool seemingly and loves being at Anfield, and
what do you think it is, Dan?
Completely bought into it all.
Why do you think? Why is he 22nd choice then? Why is Rio, for example, ahead of him? And listen, it feels like I'm knocking Rio and Gamoa. I'm not. Rio Gamoa is just turned 17, and he's going to be a superstar if everything goes right. But like, I don't see what Slot isn't seeing, if that makes sense.
No, and I think this has been the case for a while now, and he's been very much, the forgotten man, if you like, for Liverpool since he arrived. Really.
I thought it was because he wasn't fit. But I think, fit now.
Yeah, the fitness thing was probably the reason for a prolonged spell. Certainly last season. This season, not so much. It's become almost impossible to put your finger on what it is, especially when you watch him last night. He's doing likewise in training. Like, what's going on there? You know what I mean? Like, is it something you can't even sort of like say he's not tracking back, he's not putting the effort in because he's full of endeavour, full of running. It's almost impossible to say. And we are light in terms of numbers out there. There's no natural Salah understudy, but Chiesa doesn't seem to have that gig either. It's bizarre. The Rio thing's interesting. Liverpool clearly have a lot of faith and belief in Rio, and rightfully so. Okay. And I do think you're right to suggest that maybe because of all the stock we've put into him, we are sort of, fast forwarding a little bit on Rio. But Chiesa is probably a better option right now, I would say.
That was a clip from the Final Word show. If you'd like to check out the full show, head on over to redmenplus.com.